Hey, welcome back to New World Nerds. I'm Supermaniko.
And I'm the BatmanBrandon.
Hey guys, it's good to be back.
Yeah, we haven't done a video.
Yeah, we haven't done anything in a while, but here we are. Your New World Nerds are back, baby.
Oh yeah, still in it.
With a fresh, hot take on Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes, we've watched Spider-Man Homecoming.
The latest entry into the MCU performed well at the box office. It's doing well critically by everybody else, but let's see what these critics think about it. Just kidding, we also liked it.
Yeah, it was super good.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Thanks for coming, folks. It was good.
That's really all you need. If you haven't seen this, go watch this. Go watch the movie before, because there is going to be spoilers.
This is definitely a spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie, it's been out for like a month already. What are you doing with your life?
You're playing yourself.
Stop going to work. Stop taking care of your family.
No. Keep going to work.
Go to the movie theaters. See it 3 times in one day.
Spend all your money.
All your money. Just some broad strokes are what we thought of the movie. This is the best interpretation of Spider-Man's everyday life. Spider-Man and Peter Parker's everyday life. If I felt like I was reading a comic book. The stakes aren't as high, but you definitely are with him.
It feels like it's the most comic book accurate version of Spider-Man that we've had.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really want to see more from Tom Holland. Like, seeing this movie makes me like want to see the future for Tom Holland, because I feel like he's going to grow into the role.
Now we're just going to hop into this thing.
All the spoilers.
Now all the spoilers. A lot of people's biggest gripe with the MCU is that they don't have good villains. And I thought that this movie had a great villain.
That was one thing this movie did way differently, was the Vulture.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
His performance was great.
Always.
I loved it. Yeah. But he wasn't a throwaway villain. That was the other thing. They set him up from the beginning with connecting it to the Avengers, and then they had a bunch of Easter eggs for other villains. But I feel like the big thing is that he didn't die. Normally at the end of these movies, somehow the villain ends up killing themselves or dies, and he didn't.
I definitely was hoping the whole time. I was like, please don't die, please don't die.
Yeah. Yes,
he's here. So I thought he was very menacing, especially that scene where he picks him up in the car. It's very intense.
Yeah.
It also shows that he wasn't like an idiot. It also shows he can put pieces together and figure out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
That was such a cool moment, because nobody puts it, like, as an audience, you know that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But like someone who doesn't know, it does make sense that someone could actually piece it together. Yeah. Like, I'm glad that they had that moment. He's like, oh, you're always gone. Oh yeah, when Spider-Man's there.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
He was in Washington, D.C. when you were in Washington.
When Spider-Man showed up.
So I really like the way they did that. And, you know, other Spider-Man movies have had the villain problem where there's too many of them. There ended up being like 5 villains in this movie.
Yeah. But they were all like mentioned.
They weren't their like final forms, you know. You got you had the Prowler in there, played by Donald Glover. You got the Tinkerer in there. You got Shocker in there. 2 Shockers, in fact.
Yeah, that was cool.
So
and then Ned.
And then Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds ends up becoming Hobgoblin. Spoiler alert. But I don't think that this version will become Hobgoblin.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they'll even do Hobgoblin.
That would be cool.
Yeah, maybe because they don't want similarities. They're like, oh, another Green Goblin. No, this is a different one, we swear.
It's orange.
Yeah. So this is the first Spider-Man movie in the MCU, and I thought they did a very good job of using that to their advantage, because you got the Battle of New York. Now that affects the villain. It still rings true to today. You know, like, it's still making an impact. But when you think about, I was listening to Comic Book Cast, and he brought up a really good point, because they're like, oh, everything referenced the Battle of New York. He's like, well, yeah, guess what? If there was like a wormhole that opened up in the top of New York, and we all found out that we weren't alone anymore, you would always talk about it. It'd be a big point in history where we found out the world is a lot bigger than we thought. Yeah. At least the Earth-based one.
It's cool because that just makes continuity more cohesive. Like, it connects it in an interesting way. Like when we were watching Daredevil the other day. I liked that this had all the Easter eggs.
Oh,
so
yeah,
just referencing all the different characters. I like Tony Stark in it too. Robert Downey Jr. always kills it.
And people are like, "Oh, this is like the Iron Man 4." It's like, shut up.
Oh, it's totally not. Yeah, he's barely in the film.
No.
But he's sprinkled in there enough to where, like, you know, it like gardens. He's like the tricycle wheels on the Spider-Man movie. Like, you know what I mean?
So that's really cool, and is a passing the torch, because I feel like Spider-Man in the MCU is going to be pushed to the forefront once the Avengers 3 and 4 are done.
I think
when
so too.
all their contracts expire. You're gonna need someone to fill that void. I think you're gonna get your Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, and you're gonna get Spider-Man, maybe Doctor Strange.
They're gonna have a whole new.
You're gonna have Chadwick
Avengers.
Boseman as Black Panther. You're gonna have like this void that needs to be filled, and I think Spider-Man and these newer characters that we're getting in Phase 3 are gonna be at the forefront of that.
That's cool. Like you talked about scary moments. I think one of them was when they were up in the plane. And he was like on the plane. It was when he was in his old suit. And he was trying to like fight him off. I just like the flying, like when he looked down and you just see like the ground just disappearing when he like pulls him up and then drops him in the water. I was like, dude,
that was crazy.
Yeah, if I was a kid, I'd be freaking out.
Yeah,
like I don't care if I have powers or not. That's scary.
And he was in the parachute or whatever, so he's like could drown.
Yeah,
like, in there.
Can we talk about favorite scenes?
Yeah, go for it.
Mine is the rebel when he lifts all the rebel.
Oh yeah, that's definitely my favorite scene.
Yeah,
but
okay,
because like as soon as the rebel found him, he screamed out for help. Like, cause he's still 15 years old.
Yeah,
like,
see, that's why it felt real.
And it broke my heart, man. Like I wanted to cry. Like I was like, fucking help him. Like, but he didn't need any help. You know, he's Spider-Man. Yeah. I wish he would have said something else. Not like, come on, Spider-Man, come on, I wish he would have said something else. Like,
I think my favorite shot was when he looked into the water. And you saw like half of his face was the mask, and I was like, that is like straight out of a comic book panel.
They always do that. I'm Peter Parker. Wait, I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm both.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
But I thought it was good.
Yeah, lifting the rebels was great. Was dope.
And it was very claustrophobic, I felt.
Yeah.
Like having all the rubble over you and stuff.
No, yeah, that's like a real fear.
And you know, it's like, I mean, Vulture could kill him if he really wanted to. What do you think of the twist?
That he was
Liz Allen's dad. Yeah.
I thought it was cool. It was an interesting choice. I think if they didn't, it would have lowered the stakes. So the fact that they did that, it was intricate to the story. Like it made it all make sense that it was Spider-Man Homecoming because they're going to Homecoming. Like, and that's where he finds out that, oh crap, the girl I like, her dad is my the guy I've been chasing. You know what I mean?
That's like the ultimate nightmare. Is that like you go
that's
home?
The other thing too. It's like, oh, the dad's already intimidating because it's her dad. But it's like, oh crap, he's also the bad guy.
I love what he said. He's like, show her a good time, but not too good of a time.
yeah, not that good of a time.
Not that good of a time.
It also raised the stakes because then he's like, oh, if I ruin this guy's life, I'm ruining my crush's family's life. Yeah. Which is it adds a whole nother dynamic.
Yeah. There's consequences. Yeah. It's not just not all these criminals are just like, bad people. He's doing it for a good reason, but the ends doesn't justify the means.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool moments in this movie, like when at the end when Aunt May finds out that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a cool moment. Getting his suit for the first time fully activated, and like seeing he has like 500 different combinations.
Yeah,
it's like this is the most like high-tech Spider-Man we've gotten. Just because of the suit. I
wonder if like the suit that he got back was downgraded because it wasn't in like that suitcase or anything like that. So I wonder if the one in the plastic bag or the paper bag that he gave back, I wonder if that's just the suit and not like
not with the
freaking kill mode and everything.
What was the AI's name again?
Karen.
Yeah. Okay, that was
funny.
Yeah, I liked Karen.
And they even made fun of the original Spider-Man where he's like, here's your chance, Peter, kiss her. Yeah. Because he was hanging upside down and he just saved her.
Yeah, and then he fell.
And then the teacher's like, thank you. I love the high school scees. I thought they were great.
That was what they did well.
Yeah.
Was like showing the kid side of him, like how he's so normal.
Love how the high schoolers actually look like high schoolers. They're
not just
they actually look like kids. Not like 30-year-olds in high school clothes and stuff.
When you say that, I just think of Tom Welling from Small. It's like he's supposed to be a freshman.
Like I said, like all the MCU stuff, like these kids are literally playing F, Marry, Kill about the Avengers. Like
when they said that, funny.
I was like, that's definitely a high school conversation.
It is, but I just didn't expect.
I was not. I was like, Betty.
Another good part was when he was at the party and they wanted to use Spider-Man as a party trick, and I like that scene when he's up there and he's got takes off his stuff and he's got the suit on and he's like, this is wrong. Yeah. Like Spider-Man is not a party trick. Like I don't know, it gives a lot more gravitas to the character. You know what I mean? You care about him more. You want to see him do better.
I like the mistakes, like how he's still like made mistakes, like how, because you're just finding out he's just starting out. He was making mistakes before he unlocked the training wheels protocol, like when he stopped the guy that was stealing the car. That was so funny, and it was his car.
Another good moment, that's what this reminds me of, is when he swings the web. Yes, and he hits the ground. You know what's funny, I always think about that when I watch Spider-Man. I'm like, when you shoot that web, you have to have enough room to swing, and I'm sure he does not calculate that right every single time, and he never messes it up. But then in this one, you see him mess it up, and I'm like, that's realistic. I feel like you would mess it up a couple times.
Or like when he's not downtown, he runs out and he's just like, oh man, so he just had to keep running and just take off.
When there was no buildings, when he was like, there was this a field, he was like, damn it. And
this is when he needs the spider cycle.
Spider
car.
One thing I missed was the spider senses.
Yeah, but I think he's still like developing it. There's a moment in Civil War where he's fighting the Falcon and the Winter Soldier throws a manhole cover, and he like isn't looking, and his eyes go wide and he ducks so he doesn't get hit. So I think he has it. It's just not fully developed yet, or he doesn't know what it is exactly. Where would you rank this among the other Spider-Man movies?
Oh man, yeah, because so this is funny you ask, because you said that still Spider-Man 2 is like your...
I would still put... This would be my second favorite Spider-Man movie. I'd say Spider-Man 2 is still my number one. I think it's just because of, like, the stakes of everything. Like, and so this one would be number 2. But I think, like, a sequel to this, or maybe the third installment, will probably surpass it. Just because I do think Tom Holland is the better combination of the two. I think Tobey was a better Peter Parker. I think Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland is better both. Yeah. So,
I think he's a better both, but I still feel like at the end of the day, the original Spider-Man is still my favorite, and this comes in close second though. That's how good it was, and then Spider-Man 2, because Spider-Man 2 was really good, but I feel like you said, definitely it could be surpassed easily.
And I think maybe if they would have done a better job with the trailers and not revealing everything, that honestly it could have made it a little better for me, but.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the trailers give away way too much.
Yeah, but that's just a whole other conversation. The part on the boat, one thing I was surprised I didn't really like, or didn't resonate as well with me, because they tried to make another train scene with the boat scene, right? And so when he's like shooting his webs or whatever, I think it's very impersonal, which shows like his point of view inside the suit, where it's like the suit's telling him where to put it and stuff like that. I think in the train scene, it was just him like just trying everything he could to try and keep that train together. So I just thought it was a little impersonal. Yeah. It's just when he did that.
Yeah, you didn't like how he wasn't thinking.
Yeah, he wasn't him.
That was a lot of the Karen helped him out so much.
Yeah, she definitely
But that's why I liked it, because I felt like that was cool. Like,
I mean, I definitely liked the Karen character and stuff. That was just one little nitpicky thing I had to say about it. Let's get to the end of the movie, where it's Iron Man's about to introduce. It shows him the Iron Spider suit, and he's about to get introduced as the newest Avenger.
And he turns it
down to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Pissed me off.
You didn't want him to turn it down?
No, because the whole point of the film was that he was trying to be an Avenger. Like, I get why he said no, and that I get that is ultimately the right choice. And if you want to make more movies with Spider-Man, he has to say no. He can't just join the Avengers now. But for me, from a story standpoint, it did not make sense, because the whole film he's just trying to prove himself, and that's why he got the suit taken away. You know what I mean? It was all about becoming the ultimate hero. And when he finally gets that opportunity, when he kind of passed the trials, and he took care of Vulture, and without his like actual good suit. He just kind of turns it down, and I feel like if he was an actual kid and this was real, he would just say yes.
But that's why he's Spider-Man, because he made the right choice. Like he said, I couldn't play football then, so I shouldn't now. Yeah, it's like so.
Absolutely.
I feel like I understand what you're saying. Like if it was me, I probably would have just been an Avenger. But even in the comics, Spider-Man's like he wasn't an Avenger for a very long time, and then even now he only helps out like when he needs to, because like he's his own character. Like who's gonna look out for the little guy? But that's like a big theme in like a lot of superhero teams.
Absolutely, that was a big theme in this film. The little guy, watching out for the little guy. It reminded me of the first Avenger.
I think the audience needed to realize that no, Tony Stark, Iron Man doesn't make Spider-Man cool. Like he gave him the suit, so that's like we were thinking like, oh, this Spider-Man isn't like as smart or well equipped as like the previous incarnations of him. But
he's definitely the smartest though.
It showed like when he used his OG suit, to take on the Vulture and beat him ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
It showed that he can do it by himself.
That he is Spider-Man without the suit.
Yeah. And without Tony Stark's suit. And, well, it doesn't help. Or it doesn't hurt to have it later on after he's already proved that. So
the reason why I say that it doesn't make sense from a story aspect is just because he wanted that so bad. He wanted to be... But I felt like if they would have thrown in another scene, like before the third act, before the fight with Vulture, about him like being okay with not being an Avenger, it would have made more sense. That at the end he just says no. But I felt like it was just abrupt.
See, I thought it was like telegraphed. Like I thought that was what they're building to the whole time. It's because it didn't feel like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like he's a badass on his own. He doesn't need to be a part of the Avengers. And I think he just needed to realize that he needed to be like because you can see in the very beginning like he was stumbling and stuff like that. Even like with the suit or just being unsure of where to stand when he's stopping a robbery. And like I think he knows like where he is and like what he's worth. And not just to Tony Stark, not just just to himself.
Absolutely. What do you think of the MJ reveal at the end?
See, like
that was another thing
I didn't really care for it. It felt a lot like, you should use your real name, Robin from the Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. It's
like more for
that's
the
what
fans.
I got. And I was just like I'm okay with it. Like I'm totally cool with her just if she's the MCU's version of MJ. If we're not gonna have Mary Jane, it's just gonna be Michelle Jones. That's fine with me. Like people were making a big deal of it. It's like, no, that's not my Mary Jane. It's like Mary Jane fucking blows. Like she's not that cool of a character.
I feel like everyone just attached to her because of the Toby.
Yeah, but like, and even in that, she's just like, oh, like I'm gonna be go get him, Tiger. And then when he comes back, it's like, oh, where have you been, bitch? I've been saving lives. Like you knew what you were getting into when you signed up for this. And it's like in the comics she's better, but it's
weird because in the comics she's supposed to be like the hottest chick, but I never thought Kristen Dunst was ever as hot as they make her out to be.
Like my thing is just like Michelle Jones, like
I like Zendaya though.
Yeah,
as an
I think
actor.
Zendaya did a great job of like portraying someone who's like
goofy.
Now that and like smart, she seemed like a smart person. So I like that.
Yeah, common sense because at the end,
and she doesn't need to be saved all the time. Like
she had that moment where she was like, "What are you hiding, Peter?" I thought it was cool because they're already setting up that she might find out that he's Spider-Man.
That's crazy. And so, like, at the end, I love how it was about to be, like, a Civil War reveal. Like, from the comic Civil War, where he's like, oh, he takes off the mask. I'm Peter Parker. I've been Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. Because it's just Spider-Man and Daredevil and the whole, like, MCU that have secret identities. Everyone else already is, like, doesn't have a secret. Yeah. So, I like that they kept that. I was like, no, that's like his Spider-Man's whole thing about trying to be a high schooler and be Spider-Man at the same time.
I want to see more adventures with him in high school.
Yeah,
like I'm so excited for the second one.
Me too.
I feel like he's gonna play an intricate part in Phase 4.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah. If Sony doesn't steal him back.
I mean, with all the money he's making, probably not. Probably not going to.
So I would say this ranks number 2 comic book movie of the year for me. I say Logan is still number 1, but then I'd have to say this one.
Logan, I feel like, is still number 1 for me too, but that's just because of the history it had. And Spider-Man has history, but this was like the first installment of a new franchise, as to where like Logan was, the end of like a 7-movie like franchise with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Also, I love the cool Easter egg of having the old theme song in the title sequence.
Yes, that was super cool. There was a lot of funny moments in this film. That was the other thing. Like, it still had a lot of good levity. And that, I feel like, creates the proper amount of rapport. Like, when you watch it and you laugh, it's, like, cognitive. Like, it makes you want to think about it more.
I definitely thought it had a great tone, probably the best tone for a Spider-Man movie, where it's not moping or anything. When it was supposed to be fun, it was fun. When he was like supposed to be serious, it was serious. I also like the Captain America PSAs.
That was what
I think they need to put that in real schools. So you got detention, like.
So you were trying to be cool.
Don't let those turkeys talk you into.
Listen to me. If you want to be cool. Because he's like, I was cool for 70 years.
I was frozen for 70 years.
The only way to really be cool is to do the right thing.
Follow the rules.
So ridiculous. I love the PSAs. Can we talk about the end?
Patience. Shut up, Chris Evans. Show me Infinity War.
He's like, sometimes you just patience. It's about waiting for something, even if nothing happens.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Just trolling everybody.
That was a good moment though, because it shows like attention to detail. It's like they know people wait till the end, and they know that they can make fun of that.
Yeah, for sure. Hannibal Buress being the gym coach was really cool.
Yeah, I like Hannibal Buress. He's so funny. He's like, isn't he a wanted criminal?
I think he's a war criminal. Whatever.
Yeah, I'd give this
web cartridges. 8 web cartridges out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give this like a 9 out of 10 because it had to set up so much. Like they could have really messed this up. Yeah, and on a lot of levels, and I feel like they delivered. You know, I feel like this is a solid film. It can still stand alone. It still has its connections. It still sets up a broader universe, and it hits all the tropes. He's still got his web slingers. It's not organic. He's in high school. He's a kid. He's still got normal problems. He still wants to prove himself. The delivery of the film was well executed.
That'll do it for us for this Spider-Man spoiler review. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know we've been gone for a while, but we are back, baby.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing more reviews, more podcast-style stuff.
We've changed up some equipment and some software, so if you guys hear a difference or feel a difference, make sure to leave it down in the comments. Leave a like down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter at New World Nerds. Follow me at Supermaniko.
And follow me at the BatmanBrandon.
That's all we got for you today. Keep an eye out there, true believers.
Stay classy, Gotham.